Okay, students, so today we're going to be learning about phonics. So specifically, we're going to be learning about inflectional endings today, which are suffixes. So suffixes are what we put at the end of words to change the tense that they're in. So let's go to the warm-up. So the words walk and walked mean slightly different things. The warm-up today is going to be using your notebook to write about what you think the difference is. And why is this important to know? Now, I'm sure you've heard words changed very slightly. Walk and walked, or walk and walking. So why is this important to know, and what do you think the difference is? You can pause the video now to record your responses. So, if you're finished writing your response, the aim of today is going to be learning inflectional endings in order to learn how to match the ends of words with different parts of speech. Our objective today, our goal, is going to be using our phonics skills with context to confirm or self-correct our word recognition and understanding, rereading if we need to. And our learning target today is the following. I am able to identify suffixes, determine the meaning of words, and use words with suffixes in complete sentences. So our mini lesson today is going to be on inflectional endings. Letters added to the end of a word. That's also what a suffix is. A suffix goes at the end of the word to change the tense. So, one good example is the word work. We know the word work means to be actively doing something. So a good example is I am working, or I worked. If I am working, I'm doing something right now. I'm working right now. It is happening as I speak. I'm working. If I worked with the ed at the end, that means that it already happened. I worked already. It's in the past. If I am working, it's happening right now. It's continuing into the future, but it's definitely going on in the present. So we have present, working, and worked in the past. Very important to remember the difference. Can you think of any other examples of the present and past tense? Now that we know that working means one thing and worked means a different time period. You can pause the video to think. So today's read aloud is going to be just a section from Beauty and the Beast, a classic children's fairy tale book. So while I read this, I want you guys to keep an eye on any kinds of words that might have ing at the end or ed. And remember what they mean. If it's ed, it happened already. ing, it's continuing to happen. Okay? You can take notes as I read, and I'm going to be reading very slowly so you have the opportunity to stop, and you can pause the video if you need to do that too. So, Beauty and the Beast. Once upon a time, there lived a rich merchant and his 3 daughters. The merchant spent much of his time away, making deals and gathering his fortune. When he was far from home, his 2 eldest daughters filled their time spending his hard-earned money on fancy dresses and the finest jewelry. Unfortunately, when he did return home, they seldom remembered to thank their father for his hard work. On the other hand, the merchant's youngest daughter dearly missed her father when he was away on business. She spent most of her time in the library, reading books and escaping to adventurous lands, for she found time passed quickly when she read. Just like we're doing right now. We're reading, right? I'm doing something that's in the present. I'm reading this right now to you guys. So let's go back now and highlight some words that we found. We'll do it together. So right in the first sentence, I see once upon a time there lived, but there's a D at the end, right? Oops. There's a D at the end right here. So instead of live, which is happening right now, it says lived. There's a D. So remember that if there's a D at the end or an ED added to a base word, an action word like live, that means that it's in the past. This happened already. It doesn't say right now there is living, right? That would be when? At this moment. Instead, it says once upon a time in the past. This already happened a long time ago. And as you hear me speak, you can hear me speaking in words like happened that match the past tense. So the next sentence, the merchant spent much of his time away. What word there would lead you to believe that we're in the past tense? Spent, right? Making deals and gathering his fortune. So because we're already in the past tense, making was happening then. The merchant was at that point making deals and gathering his fortune. He was doing those things at once. When he was far from home, his two eldest daughters filled, not filling right now, but filled in the past tense, their time spending, it was happening, his hard-earned money on fancy dresses and the finest jewelry. Okay, I think that's enough from that section. So let's move on. So for independent work, you can pause the video after I finish explaining this and work independently to fill out the table with 2 words of your own. So one thing I hadn't talked about yet was the S. When there's a single word like walk, walk means I'm doing it, it's only one thing. If I add an S, if I go on a lot of walks, that's plural. That means there's more than one. So as you see in the right-hand column, if we add an S to pretty much any word, there are exceptions, but if we add an S to pretty much any word, we make it go from one to many. So in the left-hand column, you see ED. Think of 2 words that you can add ED to make it go from the present to the past. The same thing in the middle column with ING. Think of 2 different words for this column that you can write that if you add ing to, it becomes continuous. It becomes something that we're doing right now. So on the left side, we have in the past. In the middle, we have happening right now in the present. And on the right side, we have a different suffix. A suffix we also see in Beauty and the Beast that has to do with something like daughters right here. If it was daughter without the S, it would be how many daughters? Just one. But adding the S to daughters means there's more than one. As you can see before, it says his 2 eldest daughters. So you can pause the video now and continue to work on this table. Assuming students have all come back and finished that activity, we have a post read aloud. So what words did you hear and see in the Beauty and the Beast read aloud? Students will be advised to share their responses either in a Google Classroom setting or right here. And then we would have a review. So some words that I picked out to review are meat. Oh, that's the first word. So meat, if we add an S and make it meats, that means there's not just one, but two. Two meanings, or meats. Let's use the past tense ed with kick. So if I kick a ball, it's happening right now, if I'm kicking it. If I kicked it, I add that ed on the end, that means it happened. I kicked it already. It's already done. The action is over. We'll do the same thing with twirls. Actually, we'll use the S to make twirl plural. So if I say he twirls the basketball and add an S here, that means that it's, well, if I say two twirls, that means there's more than one. Let's use ing for walk. So remember, we used this word already. If I add ing to walk, it becomes walking, right? Rush, ing becomes rushing. It's happening right now. Now, gobble is a tricky one because there is an exception. But if I replace the E and add ing to it, that means that it becomes something that's happening right now. I'm finishing dinner. I'm in the process of finishing dinner. If it was finished with the ed at the end, it was already over. I already finished it. Happen, the last word. If I add ing, it's happening right now. Just like this presentation, I'm talking to you. This is happening as I speak. But if it happened and I add the ed at the end of the word, that means it's already over. One exception, the silent E. So if I want to make the word make into something happening right now, I can't actually add the ing. I have to take away the E. And then I make it making, and that means that's how you make the word make something that's happening right now. Making.